Yes, guys, welcome back to the Once You're In podcast. This is a monumental episode because, as you'll be able to see from the title, especially if you're on Spotify, it is episode 100. 100 episodes, mate. How do you feel?
Crazy.
Incredible.
It's incredible, yeah. I'm really proud. I mean, 100 episodes.
Yeah.
It is actually, like, it is an achievement.
I'm proud, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, like, when you actually think about it, we've done 100. But I feel like the last, 30 have flown by.
Yeah, the last ones have gone quick because we've been doing, 2 a week, and obviously we've been in here.
So it's not been 100 weeks. Maybe, actually.
It's been over 2 years, actually, yeah.
But we haven't missed that many.
No, we haven't missed many, but only in the past, let's say, 2 months we've done 2 a week.
Yeah.
So it has been pretty much. I'm pretty sure we started it in April 2021.
Yeah.
So it has been pretty much 2 years, 100 episodes. Thank you all.
Yeah.
From the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
No, it's crazy.
This dynasty wouldn't be possible without you guys.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been an
This
idea.
dynasty.
Yeah, this dynasty of, 200 and something.
256 subs
Oh,
and
guys, come on, 256 subs.
630 Spotify followers.
But no, in all seriousness, it's been a good journey.
We have a good community, don't we?
Yeah, we have a good community. We've built it up. We started doing it literally during the lockdown. During the first lockdown. No, second lockdown? Second lockdown, before the gyms opened. And it was
all merged
literally,
into one.
yeah, I remember Finn literally was just like, oh, do you want to do a podcast together? And we were like, yeah, sound. I was like,
Mate,
yeah,
you got cream
sound.
of rice on my bottle.
Oh, yeah, I put it in the, sorry.
Put it in the cream of rice. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Makes loads
I
of sense.
had the bowl, so I just
Makes
literally whacked
complete
everything in
sense,
there.
that, yeah.
So I do apologise. For people that don't know, I say don't know, Finn, I've got Finn a Pepsi. Instead of Finn saying,
Thanks, mate.
thanks for my Pepsi.
I said thanks before the podcast.
Yeah, but instead of Finn thanking me for the Pepsi,
I don't thank you again.
he's complaining
expect
saying
shit on my
I got cream of rice on his
cream of
Pepsi
rice,
because
on
I
my
brought
Pepsi.
everything in together. I'm one of those sort of guys that has to do everything in one trip.
Yeah,
I
because
can't.
you're a big lad, aren't you?
Yeah,
big
big lad.
ego lad.
Yeah.
You've got to pick everything up in one go.
Right. Anyway, we said that we're going to start off and have a bit of a
Well, we'll
trip
just
down memory lane.
Yeah, we'll reminisce
Okay.
about the previous episodes.
But we probably should have got this is when we
I
could
did
have
say,
done.
I said to Sam,
Yeah.
since we started filming and sending it to Sam, and since Sam has been the editor, I said anything that's funny or anything that's good, save it, and we'll use it for future reference.
No,
So,
but this is
after
when I
each
feel
year-
like we need to have we should have scrolled through the titles, and potentially we could have had a look upon
what we've done. And,
maybe the titles of a few do you
it'll
remember when
trigger
we
your
did
memory.
this?
Well, let's try and just reminisce. Do you remember? What do you remember? What can you remember? When did things come about from the podcast? Yeah, Buddy Reps came from the YouTube.
Yeah, no. The first few were just your standard question and answers. The first one was just an intro to us
Yeah.
and how we were, and then it was literally just clients asking us questions. There's not really been a monumental point where I remember it changed. I think the first podcast that we did that was a bit different was actually after my first show, where we just spoke about the show day and the build up to the show. But other than that, literally all the podcasts were roughly the same. We had our clients ask us some questions. We had Tatenda, who was the legend of the podcast. And we've got probably, the thing is we probably only got 3 to 5 questions per episode. And
But yeah,
This is the first ever podcast.
oh,
where you're at, mate.
that will sound absolutely fantastic on the audio.
Look at us. If you want to go back, it's on my channel, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to find the date. So the date of the first ever podcast that we...
April 18th, that's my guess.
It was the 9th of April 2021.
Okay.
So it has been over 2 years.
Crazy.
And we got 1,000 views, 1,121.
Wow.
We got more than we got now.
We've fallen off.
We don't get any now.
Yeah, we've peaked.
No, that's because it was a new thing.
Yeah.
And obviously then it was on my channel. I think we did still get more views when it was on my channel.
Yeah.
It's my successful channel, you see.
Yeah.
We got 1.1 thousand on the first episode, then we got 537.
It's like anything on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anything that's new. And then also when people probably in the first month or two, they probably would have listened to the first one and just
And
so they
gone,
got
"Fucking hell.
they got a gist and gone.
This quality, the production quality is awful.
Now they've seen us level up and they're
Yeah.
oh yeah, coming in.
Yeah, we
But
have leveled up.
The thing is, and this is we started literally doing it on Zoom. And we did it for literally
for over a year.
Yeah,
nearly
literally
nearly 2 years.
Yeah, and for the entirety of it, we were just Sam would just have a chat. It was literally the same day, the same time, pretty much we did the same question box. And there wasn't anything too magic to it, but we just kept consistent with it. And I think that's part of what we do. It's just it was part when we get to the gym, we've always said this, it's just part of our routine. It was part of our routine, turn up, do the podcast, same sort of time, every single week. and we're now 100 episodes deep. So
It's good looking through. Like, ones that seem to get more traction are like, should you use PEDs if you're not competing? That got quite a lot of views.
yeah,
Nobody gives a fuck. That got a lot of views.
okay.
How far should you push your off season? That got a decent amount of views.
God, don't listen to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, way too
That
far.
was funny, wasn't it? The flat bench video.
Yes. Very bad.
Yeah, they got decent views. Obviously, we don't know on Spotify. We'd have to look on Spotify the like listens, how many we got on each. But it has like gradually. It looks to have gradually progressed in terms of like the views. Arnold's recap and meeting Jay. That was a big day. We've got that as a photo above us. You can't see, guys. That's for the.
That doesn't
the
feel
people.
that long ago though. I don't feel like that day feels that long ago.
That was 7 months ago.
Mad that.
Arnold's recap and meeting Jay.
I feel like that's flown by. Like
should
that.
Finn switch to men's physique? Yeah. Josh Bogdani. We had Josh Bogdani on.
Yep.
We had
who was our first
Adam
guest?
Powell.
It was Josh Croggan. Then we had like a little run with Josh Croggan, Bogdani.
guest episode with Josh Croggan.
Yeah, we had Kess.
So we had Josh, then we had Kez, then we had Josh Bogdani, then we had Adam Powell, then we had George Osborne. Then Josh came back on, Josh Croggan, for Christmas episode.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't there. Then Josh came on again because you weren't there. Mate, you've been slacking. I don't think I've not missed one.
Yes, you have. When you went to
No,
Prague and
yeah,
stuff.
but you didn't do it. You didn't do it without me,
Yeah,
did you?
I'm not doing one without you.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have a clue what to do.
Well, yeah,
You'd be
way
lost.
too
You'd be
busy.
so
mate.
lost
Way
without
too busy.
me.
Have you seen
Mate, you'd
me?
be lost without
I'm
me.
so busy. No chance. I can't turn up if you're not turning up, mate.
You would be lost. You'd struggle, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I probably. would.
Jack Eagles and Danny.
That was a good one.
Yeah, 810 views as well. That one.
That was decent.
We have to get them here. We need to message them.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So
Definitely.
yeah, sorry guys, we're just chatting about the old days. The
good old days.
Yeah,
and
before
here we
Sanaya.
are. So this is season for first. Jeez. No one's gonna get that joke, but
Oh, tell them.
okay, fair enough. Well, basically, I don't even know how it came about. We were in the car, and like I think we were speaking about like before I met Sanaya.
I think we were speaking about one of your old relationships. Reese always says he has loads of girlfriends,
No, I
but it's
haven't.
one. And he'll go one of my girlfriends. It's like it's the only one you ever had.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, it is true.
Yeah,
Come on.
no. It's the only one I properly count.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
there's
But you do always say
if you were
one
to-
of,
no,
and
if
I
you-
go, was it thingy?
No,
And
if
go,
you were to say to me how many exes I have, I would say
can't
in my
know,
head,
it's too many.
no, one. Like one legitimate
Yeah.
ex. But then there's a few others, but I
Yeah.
don't really count
No.
them. You know?
That's why when you say one of my girlfriends, I go, it's her, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Shout out Sophie.
Sophie, yeah. if you're listening.
Sophie, shout out.
So anyway, whenever Reese talks about Sophie, which is all the time,
yeah.
I'll go.
We were in Loughborough, and Sophie lived in Loughborough. The reason why me and Finn met was because I was in Loughborough. So a lot of the conversations come up where it's like, oh, Finn will mention something about Loughborough, and I'll go, oh, I did that with one of my ex-girlfriends, aka the only ex-girlfriend that I talk about and count. And Finn was like, and I was in the back of the car, and we think we're on the way back from Rotherham, and Finn was like, oh, the good old days. And I was like, the good old days? Yeah, the good old days. And then Sanaya goes, good old days. And then Finn's like, yeah, talking about the good old days
no, that's
before
all.
you.
Whenever we talk about any time before Sanaya, we say, oh, the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days. So the good old days of before
The other
Sanaya.
day in the gym, you were talking about someone. It was Sophie. And then
Really?
Sanaya came over and she was like, right on your shoulder. And you went, oh. Do you remember?
No.
In Evo, like last week, when Sanaya was a bit irate and she was a bit pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Preppy.
But
preppy.
it was literally, I can't remember why it came up, but we were just talking, and within the second that you were saying Sophie, she was there on your shoulder, not Sophie, Sanaya.
Yeah.
She was there, and you went, oh. And we were just like, looked at each other.
That's why she was awful. That's why she was.
She must have heard it, yeah.
She must have heard it and went, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Not good
You were
enough.
going, I just miss her so much.
Jesus Christ. Imagine she like.
Imagine
tuned
she
to-
watched
yeah, yeah. I don't know. We wouldn't know any mutual people. I don't think. I might send it to her. Might literally. I might just drop her a message for haven't
still
spoken
still
to her in
thinking of
4
you.
years. Yeah, so just spoke about you for the first couple of minutes. Right, Beth's gonna watch this, and I'm gonna get in trouble because Sanaya's
Beth
gonna
don't
listen.
watch us anymore because talk about football.
No. Beth still listens. Tells us. Yeah, she tells me. She's like, I'm tuning in still, mate.
You
And I'm
need
like,
to.
"Oh,
I've told
cheers."
you shouldn't be going bowling tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going bowling tomorrow, guys. A couple of days out. Shouldn't be going bowling.
You shouldn't be doing anything.
Should be just chilling out. Should we have a chat regarding myself, if you want? Right, guys. So we are 3 days, 4 days, 4 days.
3 days because today's pretty much over.
Yeah, 3 days out. Mad, crazy, pretty wild. Feeling really good. It's a bit of a weird sort of position to be in. We've been literally since the last podcast. The last one we did was obviously before the Five Guys. So I've had since then. Yeah,
You
I've
cheated
had,
on your diet?
Bro, you told me to have a Five Guys.
I'm not saying anything about Five
You
Guys.
told
mate.
me to
I'd
have-
never do that.
Was it 1,000 grams of carbs?
It was 1,000 carbs plus
That-
Five Guys.
Plus Five Guys. Okay, so basically, on last week on Thursday, the look was running flat. I wasn't looking the best. So we pretty much have like revived the look, and it's resulted in pretty much 7 days of. We've had like 2 lower days and then pretty much 5 high days, and the lower
Even
days
those
have
lower
still
days
been.
have been high.
Yeah,
Just
they've
haven't
still
gained
been.
weight.
Yeah, they've just been almost like holding days.
What, 4,000 calories?
Yeah, just
or so?
under like 3.9, like 600 carb, like 55 fat, and then like 270, 280 protein. So literally around 4,000 calories. But pretty much we've ran Five Guys on Thursday. So it was Thursday last week, Five Guys final meal, and it was like 100 carb per meal prior. So it's 4 meals of 100 carb, and then Five Guys drop weight. Friday was 750 carb, and then doubled fats. So it was 750 carb and 70 fat. And then I gained, I think, like 0.7 of a kilo.
Nearly a kilo.
Yeah, nearly a kilo. Saturday, it was 850 carb. And then, again, same fat. So fats were doubled, not doubled from 70, imagine. 140 gram of fat, bro. No, fats were like
That's like
doubled
Danny,
from
that.
baseline.
That's
would've
low
been,
for Danny.
Yeah, that would have been really low.
It's his first meal.
Imagine, just like 100 eggs. Just 100 whole eggs. And then pretty much Sunday was actually the same as what we ran on Thursday, but more food in the 4 previous meals. So it was 4 meals of 135 to 140 carb, and then Five Guys. I think I maintained weight. No, I dropped.
You dropped slightly, but that was because you were at the football
Yeah.
and you're moving too much.
Yeah, I was at the football. Finn's been telling me off. I'm moving way too much, apparently.
And slapping his bottom.
Yeah, exactly. I've been getting told off.
Yeah.
And then
Bent over and spanked, haven't you?
Lovely. Yeah, I've been enjoying that. And then Monday was, it's mad because I feel like this last week has gone so slowly, but it's also like it's Wednesday now. I'm like, oh, Monday was like 2 days ago. So Monday was a D volume, but still basically just like a pump session with like 1 to 2 RAR across the board for push. But it was still a session. Like we've been saying, like the last thing I want to do at this point is just change my training and just let performance drop off. Like at this point with a week out, am I going to be trying to actively pursue new muscle mass? No. But then at the same time, I'm not just going to go into the gym and just do 3 sets of 15 with no intensity.
I think a good way of looking at it is that you're not trying to incur any damage, but you're
No.
trying to still incur inflammation and cell swelling and blood flow to the muscle.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas
so,
like people will go in and just completely change their training or not train for like the last 3 or 4 days. It's like, have you ever not trained for 3 or 4 days? You look shit after. Yeah. Well, don't do that.
The only way I'd actually say that would be beneficial is if you are like literally on your absolute
if you're
arse.
if you had to dig so hard,
My last prep, I had 4 days off into the first show, and I remember thinking, God, I feel better.
Yeah.
But that was because fatigue was too high. And literally, so basically what we did, we ran that for Monday. That was 850 carbs, the same food as Saturday. Then Tuesday, yesterday, I was a kilo up yesterday. So I was 101.4. So we ran like a holding day. So it was like 600 carb, pretty much like my usual rest day refeed. That resulted in...
I gave you the option, didn't I?
Yeah.
As to whether you wanted to push on or hold.
Yeah, we've had a few different options because the idea for this week was to pretty much gain and regain some fullness and then look to spill over. But I think we probably both underestimated, like I was very, very lean at 102, 103 kilos on the way down. And as a result of like digging and getting even leaner, I'm now filling up. And if anything, I'm looking better and looking tighter. And I think today, for example, I look maybe a touch, I'm not going to say more watery. I don't think I look watery. I don't think I'm really that close to spilling over. Like, I think what you said, it would take a significant amount of fucking up to mess up how things are right now.
Yeah, I don't think you'll spill.
No.
But initially, if you think back to like 2 weeks ago, our plan for this show was to never peak anyway. It was just to sort of cruise into it and just basically diet into it. But then by the back end of last week, it was like, oh, you look a bit shit now.
Yeah.
Like, it was last Monday was the first noticeable time. So not the one just gone, the one before in Premier, where like I sat down, like usually I'll sit down and I'll watch Reese and I'll go, and then we'll chat. I sat down, I was like, what the fuck? Like you looked really flat.
Yeah.
Like,
and then I posed Tuesday, and that was after legs.
I wasn't with me.
No, I posed on Tuesday after legs at Ultimate Fitness, and I remember like for the rest of the day, like I was legitimately like depressed. I was in my head thinking I look awful.
But I honestly think it was only probably so that day Monday that you were really flat.
Yeah.
I only think it was 4 or 5 days before that we probably both said, I think we're done with fat loss.
Yeah.
So like it was almost like we could have filled up then, but
Yeah.
it just because you've done with fat loss, you wouldn't then go straight away fill up then.
Yeah,
like,
fill up,
it was almost like let's wait and see how you are in the next few days. And
Yeah.
we were always planning to fill up very soon anyway. But
Yeah.
then that Monday came and it was like, okay, you look very flat. Let's see how
And that
things
was
are
after
tomorrow.
that was after 2 days of like, or a day and a half's worth of filling up.
Yeah.
And so it was like we both were looking at each other and we were like, this is not.
Yeah, but
the
the high days that we were running prior to now,
Yeah.
they were, like we said in the last podcast, they were high days to get you back to baseline. They weren't high days to fill you up.
No.
They were high days to get you out of the hole because you were fucked. Like even this time last week when we were doing the podcast, like you weren't great. Maybe the week before that, especially, you weren't great. Like you weren't yourself, which is normal. You're not going to be like you're trashed. Whereas now, like you kind of come back to life a little bit in the past week, just with obviously having more food.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's my idea was like for this first show anyway. It was never really peak anyway.
Yeah.
It was just like we'll probably just diet into it and see where you're at. But because you got ready early, it was like, right, well, there's no point continuing to diet.
No.
Like we need to fill up. And then I was like, well, if we're going to fill up, we've got like nearly 2 weeks. Let's fill up and spill and then use data. But then we've like got to 3-4 days out and it's like, oh, we still haven't spilled. But also part of that is you're doing in terms of not wanting to eat a lot and also not wanting to not move.
It's not that. No, it's not.
No, to an extent. Like you don't want to smash loads of food in because you don't feel good for it. You don't want to go and have this and that and a burger.
No, but
like,
that's how I am mentality-wise in the sense of I'm not the standard. Like I would hate if you were to say, oh yeah, go and get. Let's say if you would say tonight, go and get a pizza. I'd be like, I don't want a pizza.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, what I mean. I think if you weren't like that, you probably would have spilled by now and we'd have had more data. But it doesn't mean it's a bad thing or a good thing. And I also think with your general activity level, like for you, 10,000 steps is quite low.
Yeah. Definitely.
But for most people, they go, what?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
10,000 steps is low.
It's not where I'm like always on my feet. It's more so I'm just
it's your routine. Yeah, exactly. I'm the same. Like, like I got to the gym today and I was on 8,000 steps and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like if you'd have told me that in off season, I'd have gone, that's fucking mental.
Yeah,
but it's just my routine now.
Yeah.
It's just how my day is. So you just end up adapting to that. But I think now you need to sort of almost not switch off from that, but like I said, when you go on a walk, go on a slow walk and don't go as far. When you do your cardio, do a really light cardio and don't do it as long. Like so you're still in that routine of doing the same things but a lot less sort of level of intensity.
So pretty much like that summarizes like where our thoughts are. The plan was to spill over, but what we're most likely looking to do, because like I said, it was Tuesday yesterday, we ran like a holding day. Finn gave me the option to say, right, well, we can push hard, we could do this like more food and a 5 guys again, but if I'm honest, I've had too many 5 guys.
You had 2.
I feel like I've had way too many. At this point, I'll have one more in the build up to the show if I need to. But like, it's quite funny how like food focus works, because like I'm already at the point where like my cream of rice, I'm minimizing the volume. All my food, I'm like, oh god, like it's not where I'm like
just within a week.
Yeah, within a week of just eating high amounts of food, and it's not as we said. For people to understand, like I've been eating 5,000 dish calories, but I'm 100 kilos. I'm 6'1", and I'm shredded. Like I'm stage conditioned, so I'm not small. I can soak it up. So for me, when I've gone from eating 2,500 to 3,000 calories and doing cardio and a higher intensity with greater duration, and my training so demanding, for me to it's like, let's say, fill up, it's going to take a good amount of time. It's not just going to be a case of, okay, cool, let's go 700 carb, 800 carb.
Spoke about it earlier. That's why we wanted to be ready earlier as well. But also, like, if you look at last year, I don't think no matter what amount of filling up, if we tried to do it in a few days period, like just wouldn't work.
It would have been
a rapid backload for you would be ridiculous.
Yeah,
like you'd be looking at having like 1,500 carbs plus more plus 5 guys. Got to be
plus
got to be 1,000
guys,
carbs plus 5.
I genuinely think it would be like 1,400 to 1,500 carbs for like 3 days, and like an off-plan meal on top of that.
Digestion would be shit.
And and for men's physique, like your waist, your stomach, Jesus Christ, it would not be. It would not be good. So, pretty much we ran today, or we're running today, the same food as what we did Monday, but we've also pulled down expenditure and steps this week. So steps are intentionally going to be a bit lower. Cardio is still in as part of my routine, but it's literally just 20 minutes, and it was like 108 beats per minute. That's what my average heart rate was. And it was actually quite challenging to keep it at that, because I was almost like, in your head, you're like, I want to go, but you have to hold yourself back. So pull at like the same sort of approach of what we were doing on Monday. So 1 to 2 RAR. It was a slightly devolumed session because I didn't do my delts and my arms as much as towards the end. I literally just did a bit of bicep work, and I'm actually going to be training push tomorrow, which is a bit of a change of plan. Like, we were going to run let's say just the pull session and then maybe like an upper pump session. But in my head,
Well, we're going to rest tomorrow.
yeah, we were going to rest tomorrow. But I said to Finn, like, and to be fair, you mentioned it as well, like
I
getting in.
mentioned it before, didn't
Yeah, I literally was thinking, right,
I?
maybe.
Read your mind at this point.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Like we both actually were thinking the same. I sent Finn.
I feel like we have pretty much the whole time. Like,
Yeah, literally on my way back from my walk, I thought to myself, I feel really good. I feel like back to life. I want to train. I feel better on the days I train because I feel like I can almost shuttle the food to the areas that need it. I like the way I'm like my pumps are really, really good. My performance is good. And it also gives me good data based off my visual look at certain times after meals, how like I'm just in general feeling when I'm going to be on stage, etc. So pretty much I'm going to be training push tomorrow, same sort of approach as what I would do on Monday. Most likely I'd say it wouldn't be probably a bad idea for same food, but we'll assess and see how we are in the morning. I think if I was to take a guess with where things are right now, it'll probably be a case of same food tomorrow as today. So that'll be the 850 carb, 75 fat.
I reckon tomorrow morning you'll be 102.
Yeah.
And then probably do another day where you'll be maybe high 102s.
Yeah. And then hopefully
You'll be pretty full by that point. You're
I
pretty
think
full now.
I think I can't. I feel very full now.
Yeah.
I'm feel like 85, 90%. Like even in the morning, I'm fuller.
Yeah.
Like definitely fuller. So I reckon another day of this level of food, and then hopefully we can like Friday, Saturday just run a bit of a
Yeah, it would be a case of have another high day tomorrow, which would then probably take you up, let's say, maximum another kilo. It'd be maximum 103.
Yeah.
You'd probably be very full, if
Yeah.
not very slightly spilled. But I don't really think you'd be spilled at that point. I think you'd just be very full.
Yeah.
Like, not stupidly full, because you haven't then gone on top of, like, we haven't as such peaked to an extent of being like, let's play around with way more water, way more sodium.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like you will be very full by that point. But then it'd be what? That'd be take us to Friday.
Yeah.
So Friday would be a rest day. We'd probably do a moderate day where you hold.
Yeah.
Like we've done on the last rest day.
Yeah.
And then Saturday would be just assess. If on Saturday you're like really, really full, then it'll just be a case of hold, don't really move, have another moderate day.
Yeah.
I know you do an upper pump session on that day, but we'd probably have a little bit less food because we don't want to really gain weight. If we think, right, you're really full, we don't want to gain weight.
I wouldn't even say we need to do the upper pump session on the Saturday unless it's needed. If I've like spilled or
Yeah, but I also think you just would look better for it. And like we said, Saturday we'll just run it as a trial day for the show. So
I
think,
do also think I look better.
Yeah,
We've
might not be an
every
upper pump
morning we've
session.
looked better after a training.
Yeah, it might not be an upper pump session as such. It might be like just mimic what you would
Backstage.
do backstage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you basically do what you do on Saturday, and then okay, right now just do what we did yesterday because you look really good when you did. Like,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong.
Yeah, and I feel like that's like the one thing and the one joy of getting yourself ready early is you don't really have much stress.
You can't really
like,
go wrong.
I've said to people like I look really good a week out. I look really good 4 days out now. Like I'm probably gonna look really good on show day.
That's how it should.
Like, and this is I said again to Finn actually post workout today. If the show was tomorrow, I would be like wicked sound, get me on stage. But the exciting part is I still think I can be a good couple of % better.
Yeah.
Like I can be a touch fuller. I can be a little bit sharper as a result of fullness, and then likewise potentially just holding and just literally letting
Taking
body.
loads of drugs as well.
Yeah, and then just tripling up on super draw.
Just before, the day before.
Yeah, no, just
Take
before you step on
everything.
stage. Just before you step on stage.
Yeah, you just before you step on stage, you just got everything in your hand.
Yeah.
Like, all these tablets. Doesn't matter what they
Even
are.
though they take time to like actually digest.
No,
and
they don't.
They don't, you just put
You just
them
got to throw them in. Throw
Okay.
them down the hatchet.
Yeah.
Some up your arse, and you
Oh,
sound.
okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So
I'll
yeah.
administer them if you want.
Sublingual.
I'll administer it anally.
Anal.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. How do you administer it? Do you push it in?
Usually with the penis.
I
Yeah.
thought you mean tongue.
Yeah, you could do it with tongue if you want.
Yeah, like lubricant.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, fair enough. Well, you need some natural lubricant. So
Yeah.
either spit or cum or anything like that. Anything blood. I mean, Jesus. Oh, that might be
It's got a
bad
bit
reel.
far.
That's going to be a reel.
Oh,
be-
imagine there's no context.
Oh.
That's it. Even with the context, it's just a bit grim, isn't it? But yeah, that's what we're gonna do, aren't we?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can't wait for Sunday.
I can't.
Can't wait
That's
for
all I've been
Sunday.
waiting for.
Yeah, and then we get to do it with the sword afterwards, hopefully.
Yeah.
Jesus
Do you reckon you'll
Christ.
get another one?
I'd hope so. Yeah, I'd hope so. Like, it'll really
It'll
depend.
be someone good if you don't.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the mindset going into this. Like, it's a
Or
warm-up
they'll
show.
say that you're too big.
Yeah, potentially. I reckon PCA, it might be a case where I'd probably look better, a bit more sucked in, and maybe a bit sharper. They might say that. They might say you'd be better off, like,
Doing bodybuilding.
Yeah, because I think I will look pretty big in comparison to PCA dudes. But at the same time, like, my shape's good and I can pose well for PCA.
I think as well, just pose like really relaxed.
Yeah.
Like, because if you pose like aggressively in men's physique anyway, it's not going to look good. But especially if you're twice as big as the guys next to you, you need to almost like pose really relaxed.
Yeah, but that being said, I don't really pose. I think I pose a lot better for PCA posing because it's the quarter turns, you have like the arm above your head, you have the sides, and I think they suit my physique, to be fair, better than the front and back shot for just two bros.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I think this weekend will be good. It'll be good to assess data. It'll be good to kind of see how things are. I'm really excited, to be fair, and like I'm really trying to enjoy the process, because you look back at parts like this and this is when the prep's fun. This is when you should be enjoying it. This is when like every day is different. Every day is going through different stages of feelings, emotions. Some, like, I'll literally take some photos and think, oh, I look like wicked, and then I'll look back at them an hour later and go, oh, I don't look the best. Or I'll have a meal, feel really full, and then I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm spilling over, I don't look the best. Like, you just in your head constantly, but it's good, it's enjoyable, because this is part of a prep. This is when you want to enjoy it. So trying to take a step back and actually enjoy the process, think this is what I've worked for, this is what I'm working towards, and if anything, just trying to enjoy how things are. So yeah, positives. We are, like I said, 3 and a bit days out. So the next time that we're on the pod, we potentially could have
another sword. We'll have a sword fight.
Yeah,
that's not even just a euphemism for touching each other's penises.
No. But unfortunately, both will be potentially my swords. Imagine I say this.
Well, it's not going to be mine, is it? By the next weekend,
you never know, mate.
I am shredded, to be fair.
You never know.
Could jump in.
Imagine I don't even win my class.
Mate, you might not.
No, imagine I get like 3rd or 4th.
You don't know.
This is the thing. You never know with competing, guys. So like, by the time this is out, you would know what's happened, and if there's people who beat me, fair play. They're pretty good. They must be pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah. Best of luck to them. Best of luck to me.
Jump in.
And therefore, that's me.
What would you do if backstage I was tanned up and ready to go against you?
That's why you were just like, all right then, bro, come on.
Don't speak to you.
Oh, just start grunting. So yeah, exciting times ahead.
I'm ready.
Finn's prep update. You are.
I'm ready.
17 weeks.
16 and a half, but I'm ready.
16. 181 pounds.
I'm going to do an early show, but I'm not going to tell anyone. I've told you.
No, I know what show you're doing.
Yeah. I've told Reese.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell anyone else. I've told Reese and Shannon they're going to come if you want to come, but I've not told anyone else. I'm going to do an early show. I'm going to be working in the shadows for that show.
You know what? I'm thinking of, like, how can I drop a hint without saying what it is?
I don't want you to drop in. You don't need to.
I'm thinking about how can I drop a hint about it.
I don't want you to.
Yeah.
Sam, if you drops a hint, cut it out.
You
don't need to drop a hint.
No, because there's
in
a
all
way
seriousness, nobody cares. Like,
yeah,
literally.
No, please, that's actually Sam. That's a real. No one cares if this is what this needs. Yeah, just say your shows.
The reason that I'm not saying it is because I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do it. It depends on how ready I am at that point. It's almost like, because the BNBF would be my first show, the BNBF Northern, which is the last BNBF qualifier.
What's the date for that? Just so people know.
What's the date? 20th, I believe. 20th of August. Let me double check. But that's still a while away from my later shows. So, it might be the 28th, actually. You might be right.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is, sorry. No, it's the 26th. Sorry.
Okay.
The 20th of August is the UK FBA Northern. So I've got clients doing that. I was thinking of doing that. And basically, that'd be my warm-up show, the UK FBA Northern. Yeah. And the UK FBA Heart of England would be my main qualifier. Okay. But then I also thought, even if I do the UK FBA Northern as a warm-up show, I still want to be really good at it.
Yeah,
I don't want the pressure.
You don't want to turn up to a UK FBA show, not
going like, let's see how I am.
That's the main show that you're going for the finals.
Yeah, it's one of.
Yeah.
So the BMBF qualifier is my first show, but I'm looking to have a warm-up show prior. But yeah, reason being, like, you learn a lot from being on stage, watching yourself back, seeing how your posing was, seeing how you looked compared to other people, looking at your posing fitness, things like that, like loads of different things. And like even down to finer details of like who you're posing next to and whether or not you need to adjust your posing based on who you're posing next to and like their strengths and weaknesses and your strengths and weaknesses, things like that. So it'll all just be a case of practice before that first show. But yeah, for the actual first show, the BMBF, I'm 16 and a half weeks out, which is sound. Like I've got plenty of time. I've got a deload planned, not next week, but the week after, over the weekend, for my birthday, which, like I said in the last episode, it wasn't actually aligned with my birthday. I didn't realise. It's just turned out like that, and then Shannon's booked for us to go away. So we'll probably, depending on if I'm like where I need to be at that point, probably go out for a meal, or I'll just have a few higher days to make sure that I don't get too flat over that deload, similar to what I've been doing with clients as well. the other day I mapped out client shows for this year, and I've not included you. So if I include you as well, I've got 44 times I've got clients on stage this year.
That's cool. That.
I know. I was like, when I worked it out, I was like, that's mental.
Yeah.
And that's like not including if anybody goes further than the ones we've got planned. But obviously we'll wait and see like what happens between now and then. But it's exciting. Like I was looking back, so I've got all my show results on a spreadsheet, and I've got like at the bottom I've got like overall wins, British titles. I've got like wins, second places, third. I've got it all written down, so it's quite cool. Like obviously over time you can see it go up. But the first year I had four times. I had Sonny twice and Slater twice.
Yeah.
So the first year I had clients competing, I had 4 times I had clients on stage. And I remember I was more stressed for that than I am for this year.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like, oh my God, this is like a big thing.
It's completely different.
Then last year I think it was like 15 or something like that in total. The amount of times, maybe slightly less.
Yeah.
And then this year.
So the rate of growth you're expecting at least like because it's tripled.
Yeah. So
you
next year
need to be like
120.
Yeah, you need way more than 120. Like it needs to be accelerating from
Oh
that.
really?
So like it's gone from like, let's say if you think 4 to 15. So what, like 3.5?
4 times.
Yeah, 4 times. Then it's gone. Oh mate, you gone down. You
went not really. 15 to 44, 15 to 30. Yeah, it's 3 times.
Yeah. So now you need to like actually step it up because if not, you're just gonna stay the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So step it up, bro. Business mentor. Like, I'm
I'll
sure
message
Ben.
I'm
sure Ben Hawksworth's got.
Ben
some,
Hawksworth.
Yeah, he's
I'll
got some
message him as
spaces for you.
They all say the same thing, so it doesn't matter who I message.
Yeah, no, they'll just
message any of them.
Yeah, they'll just
Whoever's the cheapest.
they'll just like look at their list and go, Finn, how many followers you got? Okay, yeah, number 12. Yeah, do this, mate.
Do this one.
Yeah.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Yeah, cheers for that, and that'll be $3,000, and you have to pay me 3 months up front.
Yeah. Well, no,
they don't have to say that, but that's what.
That's the plan. The whole client thing came to my mind because I was thinking about shows that I'm doing that clients are doing.
Yeah.
So like, I've got quite a lot of people in the BNBF Northern.
Mm-hmm.
I think at one show I've got like 7 people doing it.
That's sick.
It's
really good.
Including me.
Yeah.
I think that's the BNBF Northern.
That's
because it's the last qualifiers. Like it'd be cool. Like I'll make sure everyone wears their FK t-shirt as well. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool because like looking back a few years back, like when me and Shannon would first go to shows, this was what, like 2019.
Yeah.
Like if you'd have told me that, I'd have been like, that's fucking mint. Like, that's mental.
I have 11 clients on stage this year. Like I've got a list. I don't actually know I need to draft up all the shows. I want to see.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
like,
but I've got 11 because I've got client shows and I've got 11 people's names. So.
I've written projections as well, so like what I expect.
Are you telling them that? Or are you
no, I might tell people if they want to know. Like. Yeah. Depends on the individual. Like, if I think somebody has the potential to win their shows, but telling them that won't help them, then I won't tell them that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wrote down the projections. I wrote down projections for myself. Like,
wrote down projections for me.
I haven't written you in there. I need to put you in there.
Yeah, write me down, man.
I need to put you in there because I have taken the steering wheel recently.
To be fair, yeah, but I think it's worked well.
It's been good, and I've been so chilled as well. Like, it's been really nice because I feel like. Let's say even a year ago, even like last prep, like I wouldn't say confidently that I was like, I wouldn't say that I didn't know what I was doing, but I wouldn't have been confident to go, yeah, I'm happy with my decision making and I think this and I think that. Whereas now I'm like, if you say something, I'll go, mate, shut the fuck up, do this. Like
no, but then also you haven't said that.
No, because you haven't said anything stupid.
It's, at this point, it's more so just confirmation. It's literally like, right, what do you reckon? Sound, run this? Yeah, cool. Or it's not even been something we've disagreed with. Like literally, like. Yesterday, 2 options. I was like, "This is what I think. This is what you think."
I think that works well as well. Because if I'd have just said to you, "You need to do a burger again," like I know for a fact you'd have been like, "I don't really want to do that," and that brings some stress. And it's like, well, let's give you an option as to what do you actually want to do. Like some clients, you might go, "This is option 1. This is option 2, and option 2 is go and do this and have a burger." Yeah. They'll choose option 2 all day long. But some people won't. Some people will go, "Well, actually, I want to do this because first of all." Obviously, it's not an issue for you because you're an absolute fucking baller. But some people, like, you got to think if you're getting a 5 guys every other night, it's a lot of money. Like, it adds up. Like, I sometimes say with clients, I'll go, right, I want you to get another off-plan meal. And then I'll think in my head, like, if this was me, it's like sometimes it's like 17, 18-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Like, when kids, like they're not kids, but you know what I mean.
When I was at my heaviest, in my when I was in my teens, I had 2 Dominoes a week. My mum bought both of them.
Yeah, she still buys everything for me.
Yeah, of course. And I remember thinking to myself, like, the order I had, mate, was like minimum like 45, 50 quid. No, genuinely, mate, it was a large pizza, and I'd have like 4 packs of dough balls. And those dough balls were like $5 each. So it was like 20 quid on dough balls, 20 quid on pizza.
And just do it.
Yeah. And then, like, if I was fancying it, I was like, I'll get the cookies. I'll have them. I don't know how I used to eat
it. It is mental as well, though. You don't think about it at that age, do you?
But my mum was fine with it. Like, she was cool.
She's a baller as well.
Yeah, she's a baller. That's why. Yeah. But she, in a weird way, she knew that, like, okay, she probably was thinking, Jesus Christ, fat bastard.
Yeah, my son's a fat mess.
At the same time, she knew it was in line with...
Him now.
Yeah. Cheers. Yeah, but she knew it was in line with like my bodybuilding orientated goals. I was peak off season for my age, for that, where I was just a fat mess. And she was like, yeah, sound like I used to say to her like, oh, I just get more food in at Domino's, and she would never say anything. And I think to myself like, that was like £100 of just crap, you know, like. And like even in my teens, like when I used to be like, I'd always she'd understand, she'd eat the same sort of foods as I would eat, but like I guarantee there'd be probably some like, let's say family situations where they're like, chicken breasts that last X amount, why do you not get chicken thighs that are cheaper, that you know,
mate,
or
loads,
like I don't know, I'm not gonna, you probably know better examples, but like
No,
there are
is,
situations where you almost have to think like, let's say rice again, you could easily go and buy yourself a rice cooker and get yourself a big kilo or two's worth of rice, what you do. But like if you were to buy like individual packet of like jasmine rice, that's going to be way more expensive than just going and buying something that's easier carb source, you know, like a bowl of cereal and
You've
stuff
got
like
to
that.
put yourself in other people's shoes at times.
Yeah.
Like, I've said the story a few times. Like I used to go into Morrison's when I was at uni, and I'd have £20 on my calculator, and I'd minus it all the way until I had nothing left. So it was like, right, I've got £20 a week to spend on food. Yeah. And like I used to go in, I used to love it. I used to be like, this is exciting. Like I used to enjoy doing it. Like, I remember I've said on the podcast before, like when I was learning about nutrition and stuff, like I used to work out like what's going to be the best protein source for the cost per 30
what
grams.
What do you reckon is the
like,
worst? Let's have a what's the worst carb source relative to bodybuilding financially?
Really broke the side.
And like carbs, fats, like let's say, so if we're thinking financial, and we've got to weigh up the pros. Like, dark chocolate's expensive. Yeah. But then at the same time, the pros of dark chocolate, you'd probably say,
tasteless.
Yeah, you'd want dark chocolate.
So when I was working it out, eggs were very, very good. In terms of cost, in terms of protein and fats.
Nutrient density.
Good quality
good
protein.
Quality. Because you're looking at the quality as well.
Yeah. So eggs were one of the main things. Oats were really good because you get protein, carbs, and fats, and fibre. Yeah. And they're quite, what's the word?
Satiety-wise?
No, but you can use them in different ways. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of. So you can have them as oats.
Flexibility.
Or you can have it as a smoothie. Like that's what I used to do. So oats were really good. What else did I used to get as like a staple? To be fair, back then I did used to cook rice, but I used to cook it in a pan, and it was a ball ache. Like thinking back, why didn't I just get a rice cooker? It would have saved me so much time. I used to stand like with the pan.
Yogurt?
Yeah, yogurt.
I'd say like
big, but again, like yogurt, it depends because like that fage or faye. Yeah. That's expensive.
Yeah,
but
no.
Like,
I'd say like actual legit Greek yogurt with some like good quality fats in.
Even like the zero, like if you get like the Tesco homemade and stuff, like they're pretty cheap and they're pretty good in terms of protein and carbs and low fat. Fruit juice, like relatively cheap fruit juice for easy carbs. Yeah. Peanut butter, cheap peanut butter I used to get for fats all the time.
I mean, whey used to be pretty cheap.
Yeah,
relative,
not really
like, it's not anymore, no. Like whey used to be
unless
pretty
you
cheap.
use Fin 15 on CMP.
Oh, Reese Fit 10 on CSN.
Yeah, then it's really cheap. Yeah. I can't remember what else I used to get, but I remember I wrote a list down and I did this, and I remember tuna, and tuna was awful. Yeah. So I remember thinking like, oh, tuna, I like tuna. Let's have that. But then like even cheap tuna is like something like 70p a tin. Yeah. And a tin's like 20 grams. So I'd get 2 tins for one meal. So that's £1.40 for the protein within a meal. Whereas like if you get a packet of chicken breast, like it worked out cheaper.
I remember I had in my lunch when I was like doing my GCSEs, I'd have sultanas. There's my carb source.
Yeah, it's good.
And then post workout, I'd have a scoop of whey, and I'd have like 3 tins of like pineapple. And you could get like at Morrison's, I could get like I think
I'd be on the floor, mate. I'd be on the floor, lying cold on the floor.
The pineapple. No, but the pineapple, there was deals, so you could get a lot, and if like the amount of pineapple you get relative to carbs, relative to like the deals you get like a few tins for X amount. I remember thinking to myself, yeah, that's a good option. So it was like whey. I used to have like sultanas and whey, and then it was whey.
Was it my protein?
Bulk powders. Used to shit myself like multiple times.
I used to have my protein. I used to like.
I never had my protein.
Mate, I used to hate it.
I never had my. I always thought my protein stuff was just.
I bought like a 5 kilo pack of cinnamon Danish, and it was awful. And I literally the amount of times that I was like being sick drinking it.
What about Clearway with Jamie Smith?
I've never had that.
Yeah, it's Jamie Smith, bless him. What a legend! What a legend!
But yeah, I'm trying to think of other things. Like I'm pretty sure like back in the day, I used to have almonds a lot. They weren't cheap, but like you could get a packet like that for like what £2, and it'd last you a little while. Yeah. And I used to just have. I remember I used to just have meals of just like chicken and salad. Yeah. Like I'd just buy I say salad, it was just lettuce. I'd buy a lettuce. So chicken and iceberg lettuce.
Yeah.
Like that was a meal.
Like whole lettuce.
No, like I'd tear it up and put it in a Tupperware.
Yeah.
Yeah, oats. I remember. Do you remember? You won't remember really, but it keeps coming up on my stories now. Because you know when I go on like on this day,
Yeah.
it's like 5 years ago. I used to have Cocoa Pops and melted peanut butter on top.
No.
It was incredible, and it keeps coming up on my stories, and I keep thinking, oh fucking hell, I want to have that again.
Yeah, I hate like anything.
So I keep doing it and cheating on my diet.
Yeah, I've never ate peanut butter. Like, yeah, I think
Missing
anything
out,
nut
mate.
wise is
To be
awful.
fair, last few times I've had it, like when I've tried to reintroduce it to my diet, this is probably like maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
My stomach's never felt great, so I've just kept it out.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of peanut butter or anything like that.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm trying to think. So let's actually answer what are you didn't really say.
Eggs.
No, the worst. Like
Oh,
what are
worst.
bodybuilding foods that people like they say yeah you need it, and in reality it's like cost efficiency, not the best, bro. Anything that like we can highlight that we like people eat consistently.
Salmon's expensive. You
Salmon's
don't need
expensive.
it. You could maybe get omega-3s and
Yeah, you
that's
could
going
say
to
red
cover you
meat's
relatively
like
well.
stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, it depends what you get. Though. You can get some really cheap shit red meat.
Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
20% fat.
Yeah.
Like mince is really cheap.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's not anything that's like cream of rice isn't actually bad from a financial perspective. It's what
But
like
people say the amount of times I'll have someone go 20 quid for
it lasts,
cream of
yeah,
rice, but it lasts a set.
yeah,
Like,
it
you
will
know,
last you a decent amount of
Yeah.
time. If let's say you get a 2 kilo bag. Let's say you have 100 grams per meal. That lasts you 20 meals. Which let's say you just have it on trading days. That's a month.
Yeah.
So that's your post workout meal for a month for 20 quid.
Yeah.
Like people get meal deals every day. You spend 20 quid in a week getting meal deals.
Yeah.
21 quid if you get them every day.
Yeah.
£3.
Yeah.
I bet they're more than that now.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I had a client in their check-in telling me that they got a meal deal, and I was like, we were just chatting about it. But every time I went to say meal deal, I said meal plan, and I said so mate, if you want to get a meal plan, it's fine. And then I kept saying it. I was like, mate, you can tell that I just never have meal deals or even converse about meal deals because I just kept saying meal plan.
I honestly wouldn't. If you'd say to me, "What's a meal deal?" I'd be like, I honestly don't know. Like, is it a bag of crisps, a sandwich, and a drink?
You do know.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when back in the day, I'd get them now and again when I worked at Next. So I'd get off the bus in Doncaster. For people that know, I'd get off the bus at the Dome, and I'd walk to Asda, and I'd walk from Asda to Lakeside, which is the next where I worked. But I'd go to Asda and I'd get my food for I'd usually have 1 or 2 meals with me, and I'd go and get one meal.
Yeah.
So I'd get a drink. And to be fair, sometimes I got a Greg's actually, because Greg's did a meal deal on the actual complex where I worked. If I went to Greg's, it was I think I'd get a Lucozade.
Okay.
I'd get usually either the pasta, like chicken pasta, or I'd get
That's like 28 grams of fat.
or no, it wasn't too bad to be fair. I think it was like 14 or 15. Or I'd get the ham and cheese panini, which was nice. Like it was like a long,
that had
long
25
baguette.
grams of fat.
Yeah.
Those sandwiches from those meal deals,
I don't know what else I'd get.
the sandwiches are horrendous fat wise. I remember when I was like 18, I was like, oh yeah, chicken like and something sandwich.
Yeah, some of them are alright. You can get some that are okay.
I picked it up and it was like 23 grams of fat.
Most of them are. Yeah.
Per like 35 carb, and I'm like,
yeah.
How
like
the
that,
hell
I
is
bet
that
you
even
got
a
like
thing?
a chicken stuffing one.
I don't even know. I just remember
like,
thinking to myself, like, oh yeah, chicken sandwich, that'll be cool. That'll be a bit of
all
carbs.
day breakfast.
Yeah, a little
ones
bit
and
of
stuff.
protein in there from the chicken, and then it'll have like probably 8 to 10 fat, just because obviously like the dressing or the
It's
mayo.
always a lot more than you think.
And I was like, that is absolutely disgraceful.
But that being said, they're not that bad. You could easily get like a packet of fridge raiders. They're just like chicken bites. They're I don't know what they are macros wise, but I know they're not that high in fat. They're not low. Or you could get two boiled eggs. Like that's another snack. I'm thinking about the snacks.
Yeah,
like I'm thinking about protein snacks.
Yeah,
You can get sometimes protein bars are with them as well.
Yeah.
So like you can get, let's say, 20 grams of protein from the snack. You then get the main. Let's say you could get another 20, 30 grams of protein. You're probably on maybe 15, 20 grams of fat by now, even if you make good choices. You might be on about 80 grams of carbs, something like that. And then you get a drink. Like it's not actually that bad of a meal.
Not just go and get like one of those YouFit horrendous 50
easily.
gram worth of protein, and then just go get some rice cakes and be like, or some square bars.
Or
you
some
have
fruit.
Yeah, or some fruit.
Yeah, you could, but
Or
I'm
some
saying
yogurt.
if you wanted to get a meal plan, nearly said, if you wanted to get a meal deal, and if it was like, let's say you had to do it every day when you're at work, Monday to Friday, you had to get a meal deal.
Yeah.
You could easily fit that into targets.
Yeah.
Easily. You could easily stay within like 30 grams of fat in a meal deal, probably get about 50 protein, and be about 50 to 100 carbs, depending on like your phase.
If we wanted to like rinse the algorithm for content, we could do like
Best meal deals.
10-minute Tesco challenge macro edition, and it's like we go in X amount of money. We've
both got, mate. We should do when we're both like I'm gonna say like off season, but when would we have time to do that?
We wouldn't have time, and it's like it's cringy, bottom of the barrel content. But the thing is, people would watch it and go, "It's a good idea."
I actually think it helps people though.
Yeah.
I do think it helps.
Because the amount of times you'll hear somebody go, "Oh mate, I forgot my meal at home."
So I fucked the whole day up.
So the whole day's horrendous. Yeah, it's like,
and then the whole week I felt bad, so I didn't track. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that makes no sense. Right, should we get into some questions?
I do believe we should.
Do
We should have put about like 100. We should have put it and actually like mentioned it's 100 episodes, guys.
Yeah.
But
get some extra good questions in.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Jesus Christ. I just got a message from Sanaya. Looking very sexy. Can you eat more food and up your test, please?
But Sophie wouldn't say that.
Jesus.
Good old days. We've never said
The
that.
good old days when I was natty.
So this is from Jake DPT. If you had to work another job, what is it you'd both do? So what would you both do?
We both have joked about being...
Absolutely loving the podcast.
Yeah, we've joked about being the... doing Tesco delivery driver. That's what... Or working at Tesco because it's easier.
We hadn't joked about that. We said, in all seriousness, at times in the lockdown, we were like, with all the home programming and stuff, we were like, should we just apply for a job at Tesco and like take it easy? Not that if you work at Tesco, I'm not saying it's easy.
Yeah, you never know. You might be grinding at Tesco.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, so what job? Well, I'd like to say, I've said this before. I'd like to say I'd use my degree, but I don't think I'd be very good at working for anybody nowadays with how I have my life set up. But I'd argue that I could I'd have to probably transition. So I'd say I'd use my degree. I'd go down the S&C route. I'd want to work at like a elite level football club or rugby club, some sports performance club, and that's still in line of coaching. So is that even allowed?
Yeah, you can have that.
Okay, that's what I would want to do. But then also I'd have to do a master's, and I don't really fancy having a year where I wouldn't really make much money, So yeah, it's an interesting one. There wouldn't be one thing that springs to mind that I'd be like, I want to do this. I think it would be something exercise or sport related.
I think I'd potentially work within football.
Yeah.
And maybe on like the analysis side of things, because that's kind of what I did before.
Statman Finn.
Yeah, Statman Finn. Forget Statman Dave, he's boring anyway. Yeah, potentially. But then I also think like, would I really want to do that? Would I love doing that? I don't know. I quite like content creation, so I think maybe I'd get into other forms of content. Like I think I'd create content regardless. Like even at times, I think like with coaching, like I don't think I'll be coaching forever. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if by the time I'm like, let's say mid-30s or something, or into the 40s, I'll still coach people for like competing and stuff, and I'll still coach people to an extent, but I'll have, or will have, an income from creating content and from having like a community.
I'd like to imagine that like my coaching as I get deeper into it will become more selective.
Yeah, and more of a
client
like a
base will
secondary income compared to other things.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. Right, so we have been asked. Do you have a guy called Bear Building 22 who asks you questions?
Don't think so.
He's asked me Bear Building 22. He asked me loads of questions. Like, every time I put a question box up, he always asks me loads of questions. So I appreciate it. But he asked yesterday regarding like pressure and like how to deal with negative pressure and stuff. I don't know if you would have watched, but I basically
I don't watch your stuff.
But I basically just said like I could easily view everything I do negatively, but I try to view it positively and embrace the fact that it's wicked the position I'm in, and you want to embrace that, you want to enjoy it. And he's asked today because his questions always seem to be a little bit on the negative side. So he's asked how to resolve with being instinctively negative and naturally wanting to complain.
It's a difficult one.
It is, isn't it? It's like fundamentally,
you need to work on yourself.
Yeah, you need to work on yourself, and it's harsh. It's harsh to say, but
no, but you do. You need to like some people like that. Like, I mean, it's everybody has those days or those times, but like, if you are consistently down and negative, you've got to look within and you've got to look at why. Like, I would argue if that's the case, it's probably partly down to your environment. Like, what do you do on a daily basis? What do you do for work? What is your family life like? What are your relationships like? If all of those are negative, then change them.
Yeah.
Like, and if you can't change them, which you can, If you find it hard to change them, then that's something you need to work on. And communication would be really important, like communicating with people at work or at home as to what is getting you down. But also like taking responsibility. I think a lot of the time people go like, oh well, this happened, so I feel bad or I feel down. It's like, you don't have to. Like, one thing that I try and say to clients is you don't have to act on your emotions all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, how often like do we, like, we'll have emotions but we won't act on them. Like, a client will piss us off, we won't then have a go at the client or be pissed off all day at everyone else. Like, no, we'll just accept it and move on, or we'll communicate about it and move on, or we'll communicate with the client that's frustrated us and tell them why they're frustrated us. Like, I had someone the other day, and this is quite a good example. So in Loughborough, I was coming out of a junction and I had loads of time to come out, and there was some cars coming towards me. So I pulled out and I moved into the next line of traffic, right? And I had loads of time. But I just, for some reason, I had an idea that this person was going to be pissed off at me. Because, like, you know, when it's like, oh, I've got time, I'll just nip in. Like, it was nowhere near, they didn't have to slow down or anything. And this woman just looked at me and did that. So she just, for people on Spotify, she put a middle finger up at me. And I just laughed, and I was like, I just feel sorry for people like that.
Because, and they've acted on their instincts of just...
Straight away, she's gone...
She probably had a bad day.
Yeah.
And I think I've said this to clients before, where, like, you know when you just have a bit of a bad day, and everyone has bad days, but, like, and you hear that, like, oh, God, today's just not my day. Like, this happened,
When was the last day that happened to you?
Oh, I can't remember.
Same.
No, I can't remember
because
at all.
you create that environment.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, but when one thing happens to annoy you, it's like everything, you look for something.
Yeah.
So, like, someone will just cut you up, and usually you go, nah, here's what it is. But because you've had a bad day, it's like, oh my God, why? And it's just a constant wave of negativity. But people start off their day. People start off their day with a negative mindset. They do things that are not positive for them, and then they complain, saying that they're not happy.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, I was just going to say, with Miles last year, and to be fair, it's just like, he'll go, oh, I was never stressed, but like, almost every single voice note he'd send me, he'd be like shouting at someone who was driving. And I'd be like, why do you care? Like, literally, why do you care? Like, you shouldn't care.
No.
Like, you've got more to worry about, and there's better and bigger things in life than somebody who can't drive. Like, loads of people can't drive. It is what it is. Like, and that's not just Miles. That's like loads of people. How often do you have clients shout at someone in the car or moan at someone, and then they'll go, oh, fucking... It's like, why are you letting anything, like, even just get to you at all? Like... I won't let anything get to me, no matter what. Like, I won't let it get to me, because it's like, what's the point? Like,
it has to be something serious for me to be like affected. But that's maturity.
Yeah, but even then, so like, if something upsets me or something gets me down, I will then
speak about it. Or
I'll basically communicate with
the actions.
Like, if me and Shannon ever have an argument, like we've said, like, we're really good at communicating. Like, if we fell out with each other, we'd just talk about it. We'd be like, oh, what's pissed you off? This, okay, right, I'm sorry, or I did this and I think this. With Shannon, like, sometimes it's hard to get a word out of her. Like, you'll say the same with Sanaya. Like, it's not an argument. It's just, we're trying to have a conversation. We don't need to be like, but I think a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah.
But also, again, that's something you have to work on. Like, I've not always been like that.
No.
Like, I've had to work on that. And like, when I feel down, and I've said this before on the podcast as well, when I get a feeling, I'll tell myself, I'll talk to myself and be like, well, actually, I don't think that.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll wake up and I'll go, oh, I feel tired today.
Yeah.
And then I'll go, no, you don't. Don't tell yourself that, because you're going to feel worse.
It's funny, I literally said to a client today, I was like, so I got sent today the reels from, you know, when I last filmed with Sam. Yeah. And I looked to myself and I was like, God, I look like really, really
you were trashed on that day.
And I remember thinking to myself during the sets, God, I feel fucking bad today. Like, I feel really bad. But I remember telling myself multiple times, I feel fine. And if anybody was to ask me in the gym, Reece, how you doing, mate? I'd be like, sound, all good? Yeah, feel good. The amount of times I have to bullshit to myself or bullshit to other people that I was fine, but I was literally in between sets like, oh,
how often do you see people walking around the gym like, as well?
Yeah,
it's like,
and
you're making it worse for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I think it's the power of the mind is so strong in situations like that. And if you tell yourself, oh, I'm tired.
That's what I mean by you don't have to act on every emotion.
No.
Like, I was saying this to a client the other day in his check-in. I was like, if you act on every emotion, every time you feel a bit tired, you go to bed. Yeah. You'd never do any work. You'd never make any money. Yeah. Every time you were a bit hungry, you eat. You'd get fat. Yeah. Every time you're...
But do you not think it's that fight or flight? Like, when a set gets tough or something's hard, it's, I don't want to do it. Yeah. You know? And that's why people in life, in physique development, in business, they don't make much progress. Because when it gets tough, people bottle it, which is normal that's your mindset. But you want to work upon that and think... If you want to actually make progress, so for example, this guy, to answer his question, how to resolve what, you need to work fundamentally on yourself and assess, do you just want to be like pretty like average? If so, sound, carry on, be negative, your loss. Like, you're the one who loses out because it's you.
You've almost got to think like,
Do I want this for myself?
What person do you want to be?
Yeah.
Not just like, oh, I'm a negative person. Yeah, but are you actually, or is that just how
And
you
I remember, like,
sort of think you are?
in my
'cause that's your
teens, I remember,
experience?
like, I'd pick things that I didn't like about myself, and I'd be like, I want to work on this. Like, I want to actually improve in this area. And
Is that why you did that YouTube video?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I want. Hey guys, tell me what I need to improve on. Hey guys, but in all seriousness, like the thing is,
Sam,
people are
if
told.
you want a
a
bonus, mate, go back on Reese's channel.
First ever video.
First video, put that on, mate, and make it real as well.
Genetics
Just
are pretty
because
good.
I had that one about the photo shoot, which really upset me. I was really negative all week.
Yeah. So there we
I've
go.
been really negative since that.
Have you?
Yeah.
No, I can tell.
I got some hate from it. Josh Croggan taking the piss, Kez taking the piss, even my mum. Actually, my mum was like, oh, I thought you looked good. So,
Yeah.
sorry, mum, you thought I looked good. Yeah, people taking the piss out of me, so I've been really down.
I'm gonna ask you a quick question, mate.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite football shirt? Good question. This. I messaged the guy who asked, and I said 3. Do you want to
Really?
hear my 3 football shirts that I
Not
really
yet.
liked?
Not yet, because I want to think.
Okay.
It's a difficult one, because I'm just thinking about United. I'll tell you what, just because of like nostalgia and
Okay.
remembering. I had a Tottenham Hotspur Le Coq Sportif. You know when they were sponsored by
Yeah.
Le Coq Sportif,
Yeah.
and I remember loving that T-shirt.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll have that one. That's one of my 3. I'll have
Okay.
3.
Okay. I'll say my newest one. The newest one that I think is mint. The Alisson Becker Gold and Black 2019-20.
Goalkeeper.
Mate, have you seen the kit?
Why aren't you wearing it?
It's absolutely lovely. No, it's not one you owned. It's just what
If I was to buy you a goalkeeper shirt, would you wear it?
the Alisson Becker one's lovely.
Would you wear it?
Yeah, I probably would.
Don't lie.
It's black and gold, mate. It's really nice.
You'd wear a long sleeve.
No, it's not long sleeve. I'd wear a short sleeve if it was.
Yeah, but you're in gold.
No,
You've
no,
got to
not
dive.
gold. It's just a nice top. It's
No,
a,
you're
it's a
having
very,
gold.
very nice kit. That's my newest one.
Okay.
Okay, my next one, CR7 Blue, 2007-8.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
an iconic
AIG.
tee. Yeah, that's an iconic tee. Do you want to say my next one?
Yeah.
R9 Ronaldo Inter Milan.
Yeah.
You know, that was a lovely kit. The blue and black,
Yeah.
like the dark blue and black. Lovely kit, that.
You know, remember on FIFA that team that had the lion kit and everybody loved it.
Tigueres or
I can't
whatever.
remember
The
what it
Mexican.
was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that, but that was just on FIFA. It was on Ultimate Team. I don't really know. Like, there's a lot of iconic
Tigueres.
Premier League ones, like Arsenal when they were sponsored by O2. That's just an iconic one. And you think about Henry wearing that.
Yeah.
United, any AIG United kit. The white, to be fair, the white, I can picture like Paul Scholes in it. The white, it had a gold, I'm sure it had a gold neck. AIG, it'll have been like maybe 2009, 2010.
Oh no, UNAM. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
UNAM. It's not Tigueres. UNAM.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'll have that.
I remember that.
They're my top
Yeah.
3.
In fact, I can remember UNAM. Like, I literally googled UNAM. I was like,
I would have never remembered the name. I'd have
Yeah.
just put like bear or lion kit on
Yeah.
FIFA.
no, I remember that.
Ben Ridgers, opinion on cable press around for pec training.
Most advanced pec exercise that there is. And technically, I did at uni. I told you about this before. Yeah, like we went through advancements of exercises relative to like overall mechanics and demands, and a single arm cross stance cable press around is the most technical advanced press that you can do relative to mechanics involved and musculature required. So for that, fantastic. I can't remember my lecturer's name, but he was a good lecturer. So yeah, shout out to him.
I think it's a good exercise, but I think it's a little bit complex for most people.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably a little bit time consuming and a little bit of a ball ache setting up. But I don't think it's a bad exercise.
Yeah, just do a cable press, bro. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Cable press is sound. Right, we have will Big Sam keep Leeds up? It's such a weird appointment. Takes a good couple of games to get going. They've got him in with 4 games.
I don't know though. Like you do get a new manager bounce, but a fair few of the teams haven't had a new manager bounce really, have they? Recently,
Yeah.
like I don't think Leicester have had a new manager bounce.
No.
Everton kind of did, but they haven't now.
Chelsea, Jesus
Chelsea
Christ.
definitely didn't.
No, definitely not.
They're the opposite.
Yeah.
Chelsea going down. Now, who do you think going down?
I said, who did I say the other day? I said Leeds. Southampton, they're like 98% to go down.
Southampton are down.
Do you reckon Everton or do you reckon Leicester?
I said Southampton, Everton, Leeds.
Okay, yeah.
Only because I kind of want Leicester to stay up.
Yeah, the thing is though, I'd quite like Everton being in the league. Like, I
Yeah.
think Everton being in the league for Liverpool, like, I don't want Everton to go down, but it's one of them. But I don't want Leicester to go down either. I won't want Leicester to go down. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Like
Yeah,
Southampton.
I don't think Leeds have got enough to stay up, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think it's probably... But then Everton haven't looked great, really. Neither have Leicester.
Mm.
That's why they're down there.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Jack Lane. How not optimal, so how suboptimal are off-plan meals when dieting?
It really depends on the off-plan meal.
Depends on the diet.
Yeah.
Depends on the
Yeah, it depends on the goals.
rate of loss.
Yeah, it depends on the objectives. I think a lot of people and this is something that I'm probably actually quite I'm not good with. I could have an off-plan, on-plan meal, but because it's not on my usual meal plan, I'm like, I've got off-plan.
Yeah.
And it's something that, like, I remember Sanaya telling me multiple times, like, there were periods over Christmas where we'd go out for food and I'd have chicken and rice, or noodles and rice, or noodles and chicken. And I'd be like, oh, I've had an off-plan meal. That's my off-plan meal this week. And she'd be like, Reece, you literally had less calories than your usual post-workout meal. It's chicken and rice. Like, it's on plan. It's what you eat usually. And I thought to myself, okay, yeah, like, that fair enough, like, in that situation. But the problem is it depends on what your off-plan meal is. If you're going out and you're having burgers, if you're having Five Guys, you have to have Five Guys. It has to be, 1,000 carbs plus Five Guys, has to be. But no, if you're having, like, let's say a burger, fries, a shake, and then maybe a dessert afterwards, or going out and getting a massive pizza and just having loads of sides, okay, it's not ideal. It's going to set you up, like, set you back. And I would look at this and I'd be thinking from a calorie perspective, let's say you're in a 300 calorie deficit per day. So over 6 days, you're, let's say, for example, potentially 1,800 calories, like, in a deficit per week. You can easily get in 1,800 calories in an off-plan meal on top of what you would usually eat, and more. And then congrats, bro, you're actually in potentially a surplus of calories over the week. Could be in
like a 1,000 calorie deficit a day, and you could still overeat at the weekend.
Or to bump you up.
Friday,
and
Saturday, Sunday, they go crazy.
It bumps you up. Like, so it's one of them where it really depends on the kind of choice of off-plan meal, your goals. I'd say for most individuals, like, having an off-plan meal and a diet, enjoy yourself. Like, don't be so stressed out. I think something that I've implemented, like last time when I did my tidy up, I had, I think, 3 off-plan meals in like a 10-week phase, where prior to that, I was always the guy, if I'm dieting, no off-plan meals. But the reason why was I was away with Sanaya in Leeds, or I was in Manchester for one weekend, and I was like with some good company. I was like, oh, I'm going to have an off-plan meal. I'm going to enjoy myself. But I remember, like, after 2 days, I was back down to my lowest weight. I actually think I dropped weight because I manipulated my food. I changed stuff around slightly, and I was clever with it. And likewise, if we go away, like, we ate off plan, but we didn't eat like absolute idiots. I remember when we were in Liverpool, we shared half a pizza each, and then we had like a pasta side.
Yeah.
Or like, and that was, and we enjoyed a nice meal. But then
also it depends. Like, that was we were both in a gaining phase at that point, weren't we?
Yeah.
But also it depends, like, on the individual. Like, I'll have some clients who train really hard. They're really active. They have an off-plan meal a week, and it doesn't even touch the sides. It has no impact. Then I have some individuals who don't adhere throughout the week anyway, don't train that hard, have an off-plan meal and go crazy, and then wonder why they're not losing weight or why they struggle compared to someone else. Like, so yeah, it's I wouldn't say like you can go, oh, off-plan meals in a diet. No, impossible. It's so suboptimal. But you would also then say, if let's say you were trying to have the most optimal diet possible, then I'd say, well, you're probably not going to want to have off-plan meals because it's going to have more of there's more risk, there's more of a negative impact.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't manage it well. But you can manage it well if you're not going crazy.
Yeah.
And like you say, you can easily have an off-plan, on-plan meal. Like, you could, Nando's, for example, like, you can easily fit that in. It's easy to track it. You could class that as an off-plan meal, but you fit it into your targets easily. Like, and for a lot of people, that'll make a diet a lot easier to adhere to.
Yeah, agreed. Realistically, how much difference does a good bit of kit make in the grand scheme of things?
It can make quite a lot.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about the lockdown equipment that was available, but even if you think about, like, let's say if we were to train out of Pure Gym consistently versus Rotherham.
If we were to say as a caveat, like, effort and intensity is the number one importance. Availability of kit is important, yes. But if you were to have 2 individuals and one trains harder objectively with worse bits of kit, they're going to make way more progress. Yeah. So if your effort and intensity is 10 out of 10, sound, you'll get more out of kit. But if your effort and intensity is 5 out of 10, focus on building that up and don't be thinking, okay, I need to be at a gym with, I need to go to the hashtag Mecca and use all the prime kit and have the profile set up perfectly.
Like, probably the most important thing is going to be like injury prevention.
Yeah.
Like, and just like preventing niggles. Like I think if you're constantly, let's say you are training at somewhere like a pure gym and you're using like sticky machines,
Yeah.
barbells for a lot of movements, dumbbells for a lot of movements, you've got to do a barbell
That
squat.
Smith machine.
Or the Smith machine's really sticky.
The unrack on the Smith, your
like
wrists.
their injury risk is a lot greater.
Yeah.
So it's not going to have a massive impact. Like you can still make loads of progress out of a average gym if you're training really hard, if you're nailing all your external variables, but the risk of injury is going to be greater.
Yeah. Right.
Daniel Reagan, what animal could you be in a fight? Peak bulk and stage lean.
Stage lean, not a lot.
Yeah, stage lean, anything to take you.
Yeah, anything. Yeah.
An ant would come and get you.
Ant would do me.
Yeah.
Peak bulk. What animal can I take?
I'd take a bear.
Taking out. Yeah.
I look like a bear.
Yeah.
With my beard. I was a bit like a big grizzly bear. Oh mate, I was 50 pounds heavier than I am now.
Well done, mate.
I've still got about 30 to lose.
Yeah. God, the life of a natty bodybuilder. Remember you thinking, like, I could get to 250.
I'm gonna next time. I'll get to 300 next time.
Oh, amazing. Right, so favourite film trilogy of all time.
Trilogy, it's got to be 3.
Yeah, I said Dark Knight trilogy, 100%. Like that is the best. Like, there's not many trilogies that I know that spring to mind. Why don't we say film series? So like, it has to be more than one. So you have got Spider-Man,
Anchorman.
Yeah, 2, isn't there? The 2? Yeah, I think it's 2.
I was gonna think. I think it's called like I can't remember what it's called, but it's Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and then The World's End. The World's End is shite.
I've never watched
but
that.
Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead.
I
are
think
class.
Hot Fuzz is awful.
Mate, Hot Fuzz is so
I think
good.
it's shocking, like really bad.
Have you actually watched it?
Yeah. Every time I watch it, I think it's
Hot
awful.
Fuzz
I think
is
the
so
plot is
good.
awful. I think it's just silly. Like I think.
Yeah, but that's what those films are. That's what Shaun of the Dead's
yeah,
like. It's
I
like a
remember
silly
watching
but
it
a
at the
good
cinema
film.
when
Like.
I was young, and I was like, I just don't get this. Like,
Yeah, you're a bit slow, aren't you?
Nah, it's not. I'm sorry, I just don't get it. I think I prefer films that have a bit more to it. If I'm honest, it's easy watching, and I just think that's a waste of time.
I know. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not saying it's it's not for what it is. It's a very good film. It's not supposed to be an incredibly
Do you like Harry Potter?
amazing action film. Yeah, Harry Potter is good.
Yeah. Where would you rank Harry Potter? Like up there?
It is up there, yeah. But I don't really like. I'm trying to think of other ones. I literally thought of that, and it's not even really a trilogy because they don't carry on or anything.
No. I think we should scratch trilogy because I don't really know many trilogies.
Harry Potter, yeah. Anchorman.
Yeah,
Anchorman's
I'd
not
say
really, it's just two.
I'd say the Dark Knight are like objectively
Not watched them.
wicked films. They're really good.
I feel like I have watched them when I was younger, but not, never got into it.
They're I remember me and Sanaya watched. I got the box set like 3 years back for Christmas, and we watched them like over like a 2-3 month period. And like the third one with Bane, the Dark Knight Returns. I remember thinking to myself like multiple times, I never like watch a film and go, wow, this is really good.
Yeah.
And I watched it before I watched it at cinema, and I remember thinking to myself, this is a very good film, like really, really
I'll have
good.
to watch them.
Yeah.
I can't think of any others.
Hunger Games.
Yeah,
Like
pretty
Hunger
good.
Games. Yeah, Hunger Games pretty decent. Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the
even
Rings
like
is
that?
a well
I've never
known
watched.
one,
I've never
my
watched.
sisters liked it when I was younger. I just thought it was boring.
Star Wars. I was
never
too.
watched it.
Yeah, never watched it.
Star Trek.
Nah, no chance.
Never watched it.
No.
Right, let's move on.
Suggestions, guys. Let us know what you reckon.
So one of my clients, Oren, has asked. He basically sent me an exercise. He sent me a video of the hypertrophy coach and Luke Sandow, where
Rest in peace.
rest in
Luke
peace,
Sandow.
yeah. Where he was basically doing like a stretch at the end of a push session, and it was like a pec stretch.
Mm-hmm.
So Oren was basically asking my thoughts on it, or our thoughts on it, because he messaged me and he was like, thoughts on this for the podcast, and I was like, remind me.
Yeah.
So he was basically saying, like, at the end of a session, I don't mind somebody getting a lot of blood flow to the chest or given musculature, similar to what we spoke about with like stretch mediated hypertrophy. Yeah. And he was like, not necessarily for hypertrophic purposes in terms of immediately, but more so for recovery. If you're getting a lot of blood flow to the chest or to the given area that you've just trained, when you're then going to eat, your nutrients are going to get there quicker and things like that. So I haven't really watched, I'll be honest with you, Oren, mate, I haven't watched the whole video.
Hasn't watched the video.
That was the first the first 10 seconds or so. In which case, if anything changed towards the end, I'm not sure. But from the start, I agree with it.
Yeah.
So like, I don't mind people doing stretches at the end of their session. Like I do a quad stretch at the end of as my basically one of my last things that I do on a leg session. At the end of my last hamstring movement on my leg sessions, I'll do a hamstring stretch. So like, I don't mind people doing that as long as you can do it pain free.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be... We spoke about that on the other episode about stretch-mediated hypertrophy. It's the same kind of thing. We don't think there's a huge benefit to it, but if you've got the time and if you want to do it, why not?
Yeah, right. What's been your favourite prep purchase, this prep? Finn's is his car that he picks up tomorrow.
Yeah, pick up a new car.
You know,
tomorrow.
announce that?
No,
Mate,
not
it's
yet.
not out. This will be out after you've announced it.
I don't know if I'll have posted about it or anything
Okay.
yet. So
Finn's going to get a new car.
Get a new car.
My favourite prep purchase? I don't really...
you just bought a bed.
Bought a bed yesterday. Messed up my knee. That was great.
It's not a very good bed. It hurts your
Yeah,
knees.
it hurt my knee. Fucking hell. I probably should have actually mentioned my knee at the start. I've not mentioned my knee. I can't be bothered. If I mention my knee next week, it's still really bad. I've fucked my knee up. But other than that, yeah, I bought a bed yesterday, but that's not really a prep purchase. Like, it was just, I need a new bed. Bought a lot of clothes. I need to stop buying clothes. I really need to stop buying clothes. I bought a low pair of Air Jordans, whites, the other day. They were quite nice. Other than that, can't really think of anything that I've bought that I've thought, yeah, it's a prep purchase. Bought an iPad when I was in Canada, just before. Well, I was technically in my pullback, but I didn't really need that. But I bought it for prep for when I go to Pure Gym and do cardio. And the iPad is here actually. I forgot, it's here. It's so worth it.
It's been worth it for the podcast.
Yeah. So yeah,
I don't think I've bought anything.
I don't really.
being
I'm in
like,
prep.
I
I
need
need
to buy
dopamine. I need to go and spend my money.
That's not why I bought a car. That's
No.
not why I've bought anything.
No, I'm trying to think if there's anything like that. I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to buy that.
I don't think I even did that last time.
No, I think people just say, oh, I'm prepping, I need to do this, and I'm going to colour my hair a different colour for dopamine
I'm gonna do
kicks. Yeah, Jesus Christ, get a grip.
Conran_101. Do you believe that there should be a licensing sort of thing for online coaches?
What do you mean? Like, you have to
So it'd be
have
like,
an accreditation, like
yeah, you'd need some
have to
form
pass a
of
test.
certification to actually be an online coach.
Unfortunately, I think there should be some rules and regularity in regards to telling people what to eat, what to do training wise, what to do PED wise. But unfortunately, you're never going to be able to really deploy anything like that. That's going to be consistent, and the creme always rises to the top in the sense of like the actual good
Creme
coaches.
or the cream?
Creme
Creme if you're French, but it's cream
the
if you're
creme de la
English.
creme.
Creme de la creme will always
Yeah,
rise
the
to the
creme
top.
de la creme will always rise to the top. Un français.
I think it would be very difficult to
It would
actually
be.
control.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be a case of where, if let's say it was like anything,
Do you
like
remember?
you
Do
need
you
a
know
degree.
that guy who did that? Like you know, Mr. Chalk. He did like an academy thing. It's like once you pass the academy, you then like he did like a premium coach thing.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
bollocks.
like, it's all bollocks. Like, it's absolute bollocks. Like, oh yeah, I'm now accredited by a guy who I've just paid $1.50 to do his
Yeah.
course, and now I'm a certified online coach. It's silly. Like, there's not going to be a regulation body that can kind of actually
Like you
demonstrate
say,
it and
the
provide
coaches
it.
that do well usually
Yeah.
because they're good coaches.
Yeah.
And if they're not good coaches, they do well because they've got a big following and they look good.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking, mate. That was a joke.
Yeah.
That was a joke. Look.
Yeah.
It was a serious comment, but it was a joke. Look.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Thanks.
But their retention rate will be awful.
Yes, 100%. I'd look at it and say, like, see how many clients tag them in stories, see how many clients
Even
stick
just
with
like
them.
I always
see the
say,
results
when
they bring.
people are asking and they're like unsure as to whether they're going to start or not,
Yeah.
I'll say, please feel free to speak to any of my
Yeah.
current or previous clients.
Yeah.
Like, literally message anybody that I've coached or coach, and like go from there.
I agree. We have got, is skin thickness genetic? If so, can work around or will impair condition?
Just need loads of tilapia,
Yeah, eat loads of tilapia, loads of vitamin C.
loads of caffeine.
Yeah, loads of caffeine. Drink, like, triple up your water, and you'll be so dry.
It will be dry.
No, I think genetics are going to play a role. Like, my skin's always pretty thin. Like, I will always be like pretty genetically dry and thin, skin wise. So my condition is like I always look leaner than I probably am. But then at the same time, like, it's one of those where I question when people say, I've got thick skin, bro. It's like, you're just fat. Are you just soft? You just probably don't have, your body composition isn't amazing.
There might be a subtle. There's going to be subtle differences. Obviously, skin type, skin color, things like that. But if you're fat, you're fat. Like, I'm on about in terms of stage conditions.
And if you're shredded, you're shredded,
Yeah,
no matter
like,
what your skin's like. Yeah.
You could almost argue if two people next to each other are really, really close, and you go, they're both like as lean as each other, but that guy just looks like a little bit drier. Like, you could argue it could be down to peaking, it could be down to freshness, it could be down to fatigue. But it could be down to skin colour. Like, when we've been to shows, you'll go, it's harder to see his detail because he's got darker skin or he's got lighter skin, so he doesn't pop as much here. Like, so there are obviously like genetic factors, but yeah, like, it's not going to be enough of it to go, I just can't get lean because I've got thick skin. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm big boned.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't get lean because I'm big boned.
Yeah.
Random competing things first timers wouldn't know. Tan, hair removal, posing trunks, etc. Yeah, that basically what you've just said. Tan, like
Yeah.
knowing the tan, knowing where to go, things like that. Hair removal, knowing like how soon to do it, how to do it, best practices, things like that. Exfoliating, especially like rough parts of your body, like elbows, wrists,
Yeah.
knees, ankles, things like that. Making sure you get your trunks with plenty of time because they often take ages to come. Depends where you get them from. What other things?
You could say like the show day prep in the sense of like get some baby wipes, bring them. You could look at like what you're going to bring in your bag, your pre-stage meal, the amount of time like get a pump product. Like these are the things that like people turn up and they're like they don't have any bands.
How many times you have to take clients stuff?
Yeah,
like.
yeah, they don't have any bands. They don't have anything to pump up with. They don't have a pump product. They don't bring like you tell them their food and they'll be like, oh, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
Like it should be
Preparation,
a case where
make like a notes and tick everything off that you need and things like that.
Yeah, and just literally go from there. But other than that, like, yeah, it's not really like we'd probably make a video on it, like show day, neat, like show the build up to a show day.
Maybe did speak about that.
Yeah, I feel like we have done. We definitely have done in the past.
Yeah.
Right, my questions are running thin now, mate. This is a weird question. What overwhelms you more, taking the dive or the fact the splash won't last forever? Very, very deep question, that.
Yeah, really deep. What overwhelms me more?
Yeah.
Neither, really. Maybe taking the dive because I'm scared of heights.
Yeah. I've never thought the splash won't last forever. Never thought that. Like I've never thought, oh no, the splash is coming up and it's going to end. I've never thought
I don't think
that.
the splash is what you go for anyway. Like if
Yeah.
you take a dive, you're not waiting for an amazing splash. You're waiting for you want minimal splash if you want good score.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Yeah, minimal splash is what I'm waiting for.
Yep.
J Murphy Fitness, something you enjoy and wish you did more outside of coaching and training, and then you put in brackets and football. So what is there anything else we'd want to do? We spoke about golf, didn't we?
Yeah, we said golf. Golf is something that me and Finn want to get into. We want to be practicing.
We're pro, don't we?
Yeah, no, we actually are. That's something that me and Finn are going to take
But
up.
it says something you enjoy. I mean, I don't enjoy golf.
Yeah, I don't know
I've
if I
never done
enjoy
it.
golf.
What else do I wish I did more outside of coaching and training and football?
I like going for nice walks.
Yeah, but we do that plenty.
Yeah, but I like going for walks in nice places, like somewhere different. I like woods.
Bet you do. You like wood, don't you?
I love wood. Love a bit of
wood.
wood. I love wood. God. I feel like
woods.
yeah.
I like
No,
woods.
I do. I like a nice. I do. I like a nice wood. Like I'd like to. Mate, that's not even funny because I do like to go to like.
Sam,
If you would.
you know what to do.
That's not a reel. That's
I like a nice wood.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a reel.
That's not a reel, mate. That's not even that funny.
Like it in your ass.
What? This is okay, guys. This is when this is getting a bit too. That's like putting words in my mouth. You know, putting wood in my mouth. Putting wood in my mouth. God. No, I like going for a nice walk.
So
somewhere
something
new.
you enjoy and wish you did more outside of coaching, training, and football is wood.
No, I'd like to go to more places where there's a nice wood area that you can walk, stuff like that. Yeah.
How long did it take you? I think this is a piss take for me.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to go from deadlifting 3 plates to 4 plates to 5 plates? Same for squat and bench.
Yeah.
Well, wait, squat.
Yeah. Squat for me, yeah. 3
Both
plates.
of us.
Yeah, no chance.
I've squatted 4 plates once and it was like awful.
Yeah.
That was when I was probably like 20.
Yeah, I'm not even going to count mine. I've squatted 4 plates for 10, but it was awful when I was like 18.
Yeah, it wasn't 10, it was
No, it
3.
was like-
No, it wasn't. It was
One,
all
yeah,
half
yeah,
reps.
all-
Yeah.
half-
I think
no,
I
it
did
wasn't
2
five.
half reps.
Yeah, it wasn't 5 reps.
No.
It was definitely less than that.
Deadlifting 3 plates to 4 plates to 5 plates.
I deadlifted 3 plates. I deadlifted 3 and 4 plates within the same year, and I then deadlifted 5 plates for the first time from the floor prior to my prep. So that was probably like 6 years after. So it was like a year and then about 6 years.
I'd say I probably did 3 plates when I was 20, 21,
Yeah,
which is like 2 and a bit years or something into
Yeah.
training, which is awful. But
yeah,
4 plates, sorry, was probably 6 months or so after that. Maybe
Yeah.
not that long after that. A year maybe.
and then 5 plates was like what when you were
5 plates
fat?
was like my peak off season.
Yeah, so like what 14, 15 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then for bench for me, I benched 3 plates when I was 18, 4 plates before prep when I was in 2021. So I would have been 22,
About 5
21.
plates.
Haven't pressed 5 plates. I pressed 200 for 3. I reckon I could probably have bullshitted a 5 plate for a single.
Probably not a good idea.
Yeah, probably not a good idea. So
I've done 3 plates. I've
Yeah.
never done 4 plates or 5 plates.
yeah, well, I've done 4. I've done 4.5 plates for a triple. So
Sounds mate.
yeah, exactly. So yeah. Yeah, I think my question's all done, mate.
Yeah, we'll
So-
wrap through mine, then we'll be done.
Yeah.
Best advice for someone wanting to do a show in the near future that isn't the stage will always be there. I'm keen but want more size. So basically, what's the best advice for somebody who wants to do a show in the future but they want to be bigger? And he says the answer isn't. We can't say the stage will always be there. Basically,
I'll just focus on growing until you feel like you're competitive, and then
and
go
mate,
into
the
a prep.
stage will always be there.
Yeah, but no, literally, like that's the sort of like mindset that like if you want to step on stage, awesome, wicked, embrace it. A lot of people want to step on stage. Do you want to do well? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take time to grow.
Yeah, but also like I say this to people, like if you think like that, oh, I want to be better, you'll never compete because
Yeah.
you'll just always want to be better, and then
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
get to the point where you're 50 and you go, oh, I should have competed.
How much self doubt goes into like where clients or yourself will say prior to a prep, the thought of stepping on stage is like, oh, I could be better if I gave it more
mate.
time.
I know for a fact that I would be better next year. I'd be better the year after. Everybody would. You should be.
I had more confidence when I was in my tidy up last summer than I did starting prep relative to my goals. And it was because I was leaner. And I remember coming down at like 106, 107 kilos going, I look pretty good at this.
I was more confident.
Yeah.
in my
And when I
last
was
prep than I am this
118
prep.
kilos, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be good. I don't know if I'm going to be at the level I need to be.
Yeah.
You know?
So just focus on the basics, do them well, do them over time.
Yeah.
And then take the leap. Splash won't last forever though.
Good one.
Will Razzo, would you get Big Nath Styles on the poddy? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that'd be good.
We like Big Nath.
Yeah, we like Big Nath. Yeah.
We'll get Big Nath on and we'll get Phoebe on as well.
Yeah.
I feel like if we're going to get someone on, we should invite their partner as well, because then it's like 2-for-1 scenario.
Do you reckon?
Well, yeah, and it's also nice, like...
Yeah, but what if Nath's like, you know, he doesn't act himself, like around his missus, he's like a bit timid. So
yeah.
we're like
Can't talk
asking him
about
questions,
birds
yeah,
like
birds,
we do.
pints, and
Yeah.
you know how much he loves wood and
Yeah,
stuff like that in
he
his
won't,
mouth.
yeah, he won't talk
And
about it.
he's just like.
Is that why
"Yes,
you sit next to the tree? Because you love wood?
love wood?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not allowed one. Will Razzo, on peak week, what is your thought process / procedure around sodium intake? And he's put CDM. Centre defensive midfielder.
CDM. Oh, I love a bit of CDM.
And
in
he's
my-
put Casemiro. When everyone else is in line, everything else is in line in terms of condition. What are your thoughts in terms of sodium?
I just manipulate it, take it all out the day before.
Yeah.
No, I keep sodium the exact same. Literally, I keep
If
it the
anything,
same. Yeah, I slightly
it
increase
based on
as
carb and water intake.
as fluid increase. Is it fluid increases based on the fact that when my carbs go up, I drink a little bit more water. So yeah,
Very simple.
very simple.
I think I've got a final question.
Well, the battery's about to go, mate. So let's go through that and then we'll wrap it up.
It was, bro, AJ speaks Spanish? Yes, AJ speaks fluent Spanish. Right, let's wrap it up.
Yep, cool. Right, podcast done. Thanks as always. 100
Episode
episodes.
100, thanks guys.
We appreciate it. Here's to the next 100. We'll be talking on 200 episodes before we know it.
Yeah.
Sound. Right, thanks, guys. See you
Bye.
later.